Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Today I'm going to talk about email lists and why VAs need one of their own. We often set them up for our clients. That's one of the services that a lot of us offer, but we don't do it for ourselves. Today's quote is from Eric Harbison. If social media is the cocktail party, then email marketing is the, quote, meet up for coffee, unquote, the original one-to-one channel. So many VAs I talk to do not have a newsletter, and I admit for a long time I didn't have one of my own either. But is it really a good way to market your business? It absolutely is, and I'm going to talk about that and why and how and all that kind of stuff on today's episode. Let's go. Creating a newsletter for your VA business probably seems like a waste of time. You think that newsletters are for people who need hundreds of clients, right? You don't need hundreds of clients as a VA. Maybe you don't need more than 10 clients, but you don't need a mailing list that has thousands of people on it. When I talk about creating an email list for your business, it doesn't need to be a massive list of thousands and thousands of people. You can have a very dedicated, very small list that is a really good marketing tool for your VA business. Everything is relative, and you can get clients from your email list even if you only have 100 people on it. It just needs to be the right 100 people. And how do we get the right 100 people? It's by providing the right information to them. So the same with networking. You want to connect with people one-to-one. And like our quote today says, your email list is the original one-to-one communication tool. It's not about getting hundreds of subscribers. Everybody started out with just one. And a lot of us, it was our mom, and that's okay, right? It's about creating an engaging audience or an engaged audience that keeps up with what you're doing in your business. So let's first talk about why it's a good idea. Aside from the thought about it being a marketing tool, because it is, but that might feel salesy and icky to you. Just think about it as a really good habit to get into. When you put together a regular newsletter, you get practice with writing about business. And maybe you're blogging already and you're getting a little bit of practice there. But a newsletter is a little bit different because of the different sections you can put in it and that type of thing. But it also helps you to try to engage with your audience a little bit more. In your newsletter, you get to share your expertise and you get to write professionally so that people can learn from you and also connect with you. And like anything, the more you do your newsletter, the more you do anything, the better you get at it. And writing becomes super easy because you don't have to feel nervous or anxious about people seeing you do it, like on a video or, any of the short term or short form videos that you see online. You just need to write about what you know, and you can prepare yourself. You can set up a process for it, which I'll talk about in a little while, that can help you get it done all the time. Your clients need to feel that they can trust you. That's one of the most common reasons that small business owners tell me that they don't work with a VA, because they have a lack of trust. Not in you, they don't even know you, but just in general. They don't know how to trust someone they've never met and may never meet, to log into their systems, to see the back end of their business, to handle their money, or to be the person dealing with their clients. It really is kind of a foreign concept for a lot of people who've never worked with somebody who isn't in the same office as them. And one of the best things we can do to build up their trust is to be available for them to get to know. A newsletter is the tool that can help you do exactly that. So like I say, the more you do it, the better you get at it. But you don't have to all of a sudden do a weekly newsletter. You can plan on maybe a monthly newsletter to start and then move into bi-weekly or weekly. Anything less than monthly is not going to be effective. So I would suggest weekly because that will really help you build the habit. But sometimes if we don't have a really big audience, it can seem like it's taking more time to do than you're, reaping the rewards. But I would start with at least monthly and go from there. Sending out a regular newsletter helps you create content about things that your audience and your clients either don't do well or don't know anything about. And it gives you a reason to connect with them regularly without having that salesy feeling. Which brings me to what you can put into your newsletter. The content part is simple. It does not have to be a crazy busy newsletter. It can be very, very simple. Myself, I always put in a personal note, usually with a picture, a recent picture from my phone. Then I say what's happening this week or in the coming weeks, and then I give some resources, a featured blog post, video, or event coming up, and contact links. I have a lot of content that I can show people here and there. You may, as you are starting to build your newsletter, you may not have as much content, which is why it's okay for you to do a newsletter less often. And you don't even have to put in the personal stuff if you don't want to. I find it's a really good icebreaker for each newsletter. So it isn't just all, business and a whole bunch of links. I think that some people react to it, some people respond to it, but it also makes each newsletter a little bit different from the last one, right? And if we do put in the personal things, then it helps humanize you as well. It helps give a little bit of your personality, and your clients can actually get to know you better. Now, whatever you do, you do want to have a call to action, just like you would in any social media post or blog post. But again, for you guys, the simplest call to action is going to be a consultation with you. In a newsletter, or in an email, it's super easy to be able to tell somebody, just hit reply. That is the easiest call to action. You don't have to get them to book a call with you. Some people are still anxious about booking a call with someone because they feel like they're going to get pressured to buy something, whereas hitting reply to an email is really easy. And I love the emails that I get from people because they're just having a conversation with me. They have a question about something I've written or something I've recommended, or they have a comment on anything. Some people just say, "Oh, I'm too busy this week to go to that event, but thank you for the invitation." Like I've written them an individual email. It's adorable. I love it. And that's what your clients or your audience will do too, is they will just hit reply. And it can help them feel more confident about reaching out to you to ask questions or to inquire whether you can help them. It seems like it's that arm's length away when it's an email. And they will absolutely reach out if you give them the opportunity to do so. What can you put into your newsletter? You can share client stories or a new blog post, successes that you've had, things that you've learned, things that you've done, places you've gone to, events you've attended, or even mistakes that you've made. You do want to be careful with the mistakes because you want to be able to tell people how you fixed them. But you can tell a story about how a client had an issue, there was a problem, and you fixed it. Those are really, really important things to be able to share. It showcases your expertise in a really simple way. And you can even show them behind the scenes of working with a VA. One of the things that I know small business owners are super curious about is how it all works. And if you can provide that kind of information for them, tell them how you get started with a client, tell them how you work with a client, tell them how you have made a difference in your clients' businesses. Tell them how you've set up your own business and how you understand how they're feeling about the challenges that they have with things that they don't know how to do. There's tons and tons of content that you can put in that is really, really valuable to small business owners. And it's something that they can consume when they're doing their email in the morning or at lunch or whatever. And as long as it's short, keep it short, then, that's something that they will be able to read and they'll start to enjoy. Clients are super curious and they often don't have a trusted source to tell them what they can do with support for their business. So you should become that person for them. As long as your content is interesting or the stuff that you're putting into your newsletter is interesting, they're going to look forward to getting it. And don't forget to add your affiliate links to the different sections of your newsletter if you set those up after the last podcast episode. If you haven't listened to that one yet, make sure you do, because your newsletter is a great place to use all of your affiliate links. So how do you get a newsletter started easily? Just a little planning, like everything. You're like, "Tracy, you always tell us to plan." The planning helps you become more efficient at it, so it doesn't take you hours and hours and hours to do. We need to make sure that we are working efficiently. The newsletter is not revenue generating, so we need to make on its own. So we need to make sure that we are really spending the right amount of time creating it. And how do we do that? Like you did for your blog, you're going to plan out your topics. You decide what regular sections you want to have in your newsletter. You can have 3 sections. I wouldn't suggest probably more than that to begin with. 3 sections, like some of the ones that I mentioned. And you can change them out if you like. If you have a featured event that you want because you're going to an event and next week you don't have a featured event, or next time you don't have a featured event, that's okay. You can swap it out. Whatever, a recommended book that you've read, or a webinar that you took that you think is really interesting. You don't always have to just share links to your own stuff. You can share links to other people's things. That's how you become an authority to them, where they can actually get really good information from you. And you're going to decide what to put into each of those sections. You can create bullet point notes. This is what I do with my podcast, with my blogs, with everything that I do. I create these bullet points in Trello so that I can sit down and I can think, what is it that I want to cover in this? I put my bullet points down and then I leave it to the side, and I come back another time and I'll flesh out those bullet points, right? You can start to compile your content for each issue or for each email. If you try to sit down and do it all at once, it's going to take you too long. So you want to break those creative tasks into smaller tasks that you can do a little bit at a time. Like I always tell you, 15-minute tasks are so helpful, and they help you get things done a lot more efficiently. One little step forward takes you less time and helps a very big task like a newsletter go much more easily, go much more smoothly. And in terms of content, stories sell. So the more you can use stories in your copy or what you're writing, the better. If you're going to reference a particular tool that you're using to help your clients, see if you can think of a situation where you've worked with a client and specifically describe how that tool, or by you using that tool, how it helped that client. And if you haven't got a story, create one. How would you help your client with it? What is your intention of learning how to use this, or what is your experience, and talk about talk about how you would then help your client. It's really easy once you get started. It can be a little challenging. You can get a little bit of writer's block and that kind of thing. But when you start to put these things to paper, it's just going to become easier for you. And although it really seems easy to just post some things on social media and hope to get clients, you do need to realize that a lot of your followers are probably not even seeing your posts anyway. If you are not that active on social media, um, it's the algorithms are not showing your stuff to absolutely everybody who follows your page, right? The platforms are moving to paid promotion, and unless you're super active on your social, people may just not happen to see what it is that you are putting out there. And at least they're not seeing it often enough to move them into the action of buying. But if you have your stuff show up in their inbox, that can bridge that gap a lot faster. When you provide them with quality content regularly, they will open your email. And when you plan it, you can definitely make sure that it's good stuff, right? And of course, you need to give them an incentive to give you their email address to begin with. That's what I call a freebie. Most people will not just sign up to get a newsletter from your website or from social. So you need to create something that they will get instant gratification from, like a PDF or an ebook or something that they can get a quick win from. We call it a quick win in marketing, meaning you say to them, here's a checklist to do XYZ, to create a content calendar or whatever it is that is relative to your services. And if they can download that thing and they know that they can get something solved in their business right now, that's a quick win from you. You're the expert that they got that from. And then they're on your mailing list, so you're able to email to them. I'm not going to talk about freebies and details like that in this episode, but stay tuned for an upcoming podcast episode for a topic all about freebies. And then all you have to do is find a program that automates the sending and you're good to go. There's so many of them. I'm not going to cover those in this particular call or this particular episode. And some have free levels that aren't very expensive, but you do want to make sure that you're using one of these email platforms because they do make it easy to create opt-in forms that you can use anywhere. And they make it easy for people to, they understand that it's coming from a system. They know that they have opt-out options all the time. Everybody needs to unsubscribe or to be able to unsubscribe anytime they want to. That is the whole thing about, the Can Spam Acts and those kinds of things. You don't want to spam people. You want to collect your names ethically, and you want to treat them like your family, treat them like your friends, just like you would want to be treated yourself, and give them the opportunity to click a link to stop receiving what it is that you are sending out. You don't have to worry about your list size. You don't have to worry about unsubscribes. If somebody doesn't want what you're sending out, they're not going to work with you. It's totally fine. And so you're going to just look for more people to subscribe so that your list is a good list. Like I said, an engaged list, and it does not need to be big, right? You're going to put your opt-in box and your link everywhere on social media, on your website, and in all the emails that you send out as well. You want to worry more about engaging your audience and providing them with exclusive information, and absolutely talk about your services in a way that feels natural and not salesy. It's not about the marketing and building the list. It's about engaging with the people who are on the list and being able to have them understand what an amazing professional you are. When you send out a newsletter regularly and you set up the process to do it that's efficient and helps you to make it great, you just become better at it, and you get to enjoy it, and your audience will too. I promise. You're going to keep your target market in mind at all times, so you can find interesting tidbits for them in your normal surfing. That's what I do. I just pop it into a notes app in my phone if I see, oh, that's something interesting for the newsletter. And you can seek out things like statistics, quotes, information, trends, all of the things that are directly related to their business as they're related to the services that you offer. You want to become their expert. And one really key thing is that if you are a VA with a newsletter that you actually send out, you are very much in the minority. So your clients' inboxes are not going to be filled with VA newsletters. I promise you that. You will have a real leg up by presenting a polished and professional email for them regularly. They're going to get to know you, like you, and trust you. And yes, they will want to work with you. This is exactly what I help VAs do. As a VA coach and trainer, I help you set up yourself for success, helping you fix the specific things that are going wrong in your business. When we work together, either privately or in a group, we talk specifically about your business and you. There is no one-stop solution for everyone when it comes to service businesses like VA businesses. I can help you get clarity around your issues and cheer you on as you walk through the steps to fix them. I've helped hundreds of VAs through their challenges and got them on their way to growing their business and the lifestyle that they dream of. And I would love to do the same thing for you if the time is right. You can work with me privately, or you can join the virtual circle, my mastermind group for virtual assistants. You can check out the details of the group at yourvamentor.com/TVC, as in the virtual circle. I bet it's exactly what you need to start running the VA business you dream of. Reach out to me if you're interested or if you have questions. That's all I've got for you this week. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.